is there any role that could be replaced by Copilot actions?
I think they also talked about project manager, Copilot. I think which is probably going to create project plans based on like a meeting takeaways and all that stuff. I feel there is a threat, and even for like any customer service or support jobs.
I was actually preparing for a presentation for 3 weeks, and I had all of the things in place and all of that, and I actually requested Microsoft Copilot and I got access to that. So I was like, okay, let me try this out. And I was like, okay, I said replace my whole presentation which I was preparing for the last 3 weeks. I was like, man, what happened? Do I have to do this all again? No, I was able to revert it back because I put it into SharePoint. But yeah, it almost gave me a heart attack actually.
The other one that I'm also very excited about is the Azure AI Foundry. So the overall goal there is democratizing the AI, where anyone can come and create the agents easily. So Srinath, what do you think about that? Hi everyone, welcome back to our podcast, Everything Product. In this podcast, we talk about latest technologies, different product management concepts, and we also host a wide variety of leaders shaping up the technology space. Today, we want to talk about Microsoft Ignite. What is Microsoft Ignite? First of all, it's like any conference that the big companies have, such as Google I/O, Apple WWDC, etc. These conferences are hosted to explain their latest product launches, how they're advancing in terms of different products, and for all the verticals that they have, they want to showcase all the AI enhancements that were happening in the last year or so. So we three wanted to talk about our reactions of different products that they have launched. Just to give a glimpse for everyone who's listening to the podcast, when we think about all the top products that they launched, one is Microsoft 365 enhancements on different AI advances, Azure AI Foundry, gamified security for zero-day quest, Windows 365 link, and finally Power Platform for PMs. So we want to primarily focus on these 5 things today. And if someone does want to like look at different things, we are adding the timestamps as well. So feel free to like jump to the specific location. So let's start with the very first one, which I'm very excited about. Microsoft 365 Copilot enhancements that happened in the last 1 year. So Sidhu, maybe let me start with you, right? What do you think is Microsoft Copilot? How do you think it's helpful, especially for product managers? And how do you think it advanced in the last year or so?
Awesome. Yeah. So funny. Let's maybe start with the backstory of all of this, right? So how did Microsoft actually start incorporating AI into their products? So I think the first flavor or the glimpse of that was them incorporating ChatGPT into Bing search. So you actually had an assistant on the right side of the screen where you asked it questions, asked it to maybe enhance the writing which you did and all of that stuff. And that was the initial glimpse of it, but later it kind of transitioned into a copilot where you have a copilot on the right to the browser and you basically use it whenever you need some help, right? So Microsoft in every Ignite has improved upon or iterated upon this concept. And I think the last Ignite, it was more about incorporating Copilot into all their Office products, which is they have it part of PowerPoint, Excel, Word, and all of that, right? So, and I think this time it is more about their vision of extending this ecosystem beyond Microsoft, right? So essentially, Satya started Ignite with saying Copilot is the UI for AI. So essentially, they are saying that the core engine would be the same, but you'll have multiple different extensions which will enable people more, right? So I think that they gave a lot of different examples of how you can enhance some of these things and all of that. And one of the products which they launched with this is Copilot Actions, right? So they're saying that now you previously you had Copilot that was assisting you with specific data in that app, but now you have actions which can maybe go in and talk to multiple different enterprise softwares and also do tasks for you, get information for you, and all of that stuff. So essentially, this concepts become so powerful that the employee has multiple different Copilot bots that are working for the employee, and each of these Copilot bots are specialized in their own area, right? And Microsoft is also giving people the power to build their own bots into their ecosystem. So again, first stage it was just introducing the concept of Copilot. Second stage was incorporating it into all of their products. Third stage is taking this out of their products and making it available so that it can be integrated into multiple different ecosystems inside the enterprise.
Yeah, I love that overall summary, Sidhu. And I also see 2024 as the year of agentic AIs. And that's what they try to showcase in their Copilot enhancements too. Like they were talking about agents, they were talking about what is that? I mean, I know they're specifically calling it for Copilot actions. And they were also giving examples, generic examples like summarizing meeting notes, taking action items, drafting reports and stuff that will enhance the product manager's efficiency. I also want to talk about this, right? Ecosystem play. I think that is where Microsoft will has been leading and will continue to do that because we have been using Notion AI for like quite some time. Whatever happens through Notion AI, it might still be difficult to incorporate that into your corporate work because you are using completely different tools. You still have to switch to something else, do something else there, and then come here. I think that's what they're trying to solve here, where instead of you going to like multiple other tools, everything is enhanced here and have agents that can basically go to the other tools and get all the information that you need.
Yeah, that has always been their competitive advantage over any other product. Like they sell everything as a package, right? So once the company gets, because for company that licensing matters a lot, cost. So that's gonna really perfect. I mean, and I felt like overall when I was learning about the agents, it was like a person having multiple executive assistants, just doing all this like the work after, like maybe after the meetings, or maybe okay, go and create a plan for me based on what we discussed in the meeting. So everything was like okay, go and summarize, go and take action, all this stuff, which was pretty good.
I want to get your thoughts on what do you think this will pan out into, right? So I have some, at least based on my experience of using Microsoft, Office 365 and Copilot and all of that stuff. It's been really good in some cases. In some cases, it's been, useless, and it almost felt like they are incorporating it just for the sake of incorporating it, right? So and the spaces which I liked the most is meeting minutes actions, right? It does a really, really good job of whenever you record a meeting, it gives you all the actions, summary. And when you're doing user interviews as a product manager, sometimes you are not always taking notes, but when I use Microsoft Copilot, it actually summarizes a lot of stuff for me, and it's easy for me to pick those pain points and problem themes from these recordings. But I've also seen it incorporated into Excel, have a bunch of data, and whenever I ask it to say, like, make sense of this data, or can you point me towards any anomalies in the data and all, it's pretty useless. Every time it comes back saying, sorry, I cannot execute your query, or it gives directs me towards workbook help place, which is not useless. So yeah, I think they're trying to incorporate in a lot of different places, but I still want to see how this actually pans out and works in real life.
One thing which was helpful for me, again, I used mostly in PowerPoint. I not use, and at sometimes during Word doc, especially for PowerPoint, I felt it was pretty helpful for me with formatting and doing it pretty well. I feel like that is something as PMs, like when we do a lot of presentations and all, trying to synthesize, I feel like a lot of our time goes into formatting than writing the content. So I felt in that ways, it was pretty, at least was helpful for me. But I understand what you're saying with Excel. I feel that's probably one of the most complex thing because it can, anything can be analyzed in 100 different ways. So probably there are more false positives.
I've also had a near heart attack scenario with PowerPoint. So I was actually preparing for a presentation for 3 weeks, and I had all of the things in place and all of that. And I actually requested Microsoft Copilot and I got access to that. So I was like, okay, let me try this out. And I asked it some questions. Can you format this, that, and all that? And then it gave me two options. I think it was, could you want me to replace this with the new content? And second option was something different. So I was like, okay, I said replace my whole presentation, which I was preparing for the last 3 weeks. I was like, man, what happened? Do I have to do this all again? No, I think looks I was able to revert it back because I put it into SharePoint, but yeah, it almost gave me a heart attack actually.
That's a good thing. And I think the combination of these tools will also give the major benefit because, like you said, Excel might have a lot of data and you might be creating a PowerPoint presentation which is based on the data within that. So if it can automate all of this for you and create whatever charts you need and stuff, it's going to be amazing.
So I think I also see that this could also be a trend for automating any of the workflows within an enterprise, right? So we use a lot of specialized software that helps with automating certain workflows, right? Especially Workday for HR and maybe Salesforce for sales. And there are a lot of softwares out there which do these repetitive workflow tasks. And I'm thinking if whatever actions promises that they'll do could eventually replace some of these workflows that are being done by some of the enterprise software. So I'm thinking Microsoft has a very big market here, which it can expand. Essentially, it could build a software ecosystem that people can customize it based on their needs, and maybe it could get some of the market share from these bigger enterprise resource software companies.
Yeah, 100%. It's all about that optimization and simplicity, right? If they can actually make that happen, instead of like bunch of people going to other tools and making certain things like or doing certain actions, they can make everything happen within the Copilot itself. Time savings, efficiencies, etc.
And do you guys think is there any role that could be replaced by Copilot actions?
I think, as I said, I think a lot of this executive assistants or probably some of the maybe like I think they also talked about project manager Copilot. I think which is probably going to create project plans based on like a meeting takeaways and all that stuff. I know probably it may not do as efficient as a project manager would do, but maybe to start with. But I feel there is a threat, and even for like any customer service or support jobs, like if there is a way to like after the meeting, if you want tickets to be created, Jiras to be created, and all that stuff, right? Sometimes like if you want to raise tickets, not Jiras, but if you want to raise tickets, you may rely on support teams. But if this can automate that workflow, then you don't have to you don't need a lot of support folks, right? Essentially it's simplifying that business workflows and trying if that can do all integrations and through automation, then that's where I feel there's a threat to some rules.
I don't think it will eliminate any roles, in my opinion. The way I would see it is like more optimization because let's say you have 5 people. I don't think any company would go and say that I'm going to fire a couple of them. Rather, they'll use the same 5 people for like better sales things or like better support things rather than doing this grunt work. So they going back to the example that Srinath told, right? Creating Jira tickets, like when there are some issues and stuff. They don't have to do all of that manual stuff. Rather, they can actually help the end consumer who is struggling with something else. So the overall time to fix or time to action would be like much better on the support side rather than eliminating those roles, is my opinion.
Yeah, maybe not completely, but yeah, just like enhancing the productivity, like how AI is doing for us, right? Any AI tool is how they are helping anyone. So
Awesome, guys. Let's jump to the next one, right? The other one that I'm also very excited about is the Azure AI Foundry. So the overall goal there is democratizing the AI, where anyone can come and create the agents easily. So, Srinath, what do you think about that?
yeah, that was pretty interesting. Again, it was I think what they were trying to do was make like anyone use or increase the self serviceability of this AI, like agent creation. Like if, for example, if any product manager wants to create an agent, and again, that agent behind there's a LLM model and all that stuff. So they can create that agents for whatever use case that they want and make it available for others to leverage. Like one example which I could give is, for example, they can create something on the reporting piece. I'm sure like a lot of our product managers want to track success metrics for their products, right? If they want to track the success metrics for their products, they will be able to create an agent which generates reports for the metrics that they want, so they can easily self-service whenever they want versus trying to retrieve this all the time. So I felt in that way, like again, this is one example, but you can create number of different types of agents using that AI Foundry.
Yeah. Simplifying the process, right? I this is always there in my mind. So if you go and ask a product manager any question, I'm sure 90% or 95% of the people will tell that, hey, I want to explore AI, but I have no idea where to start. Or the general perception that people have is it might be a huge learning curve to do that, or it might take a lot of time to do that. I think that's the barrier that those guys are trying to break here, where it is a simple, like Sidhu was telling, right? We are the UI for the AI agents or AI enhancements. That's exactly that they're trying to do. Anyone should be able to come create the agents, give any data to it, enhance the LLM model, or have like a RAG kind of framework and create an agent on top of that.
Yeah, a lot of product managers, ask this question, right? So I don't have experience of product management, and it's very tough without experience in product management to get in product management. And I think the perfect way for anybody who wants to become a product manager but doesn't have experience doing it would be to do side projects. And this could be a very reliable option, right? So essentially you could maybe go do some interviews, figure out some customer needs, and build a chatbot, right? And the way you do it is, looks like Azure is giving some free credits for you. So you open your account, go to Azure Studio, so you can create the service, then start with selecting whatever model is best for your use case. Once you select the model, you can also select the search service, and you can also select RAG, right? You can add data and all of that, and essentially build your own chatbot. So I think, I will also share you guys the certain videos on how you could do that in the description below. But I think this could be a really, really good opportunity for you, because essentially once all of the infrastructure is already built, the only thing which you have to nail down is the use case which you want to tackle, and also the data which you want to add, so that the use case is the purpose is served, right? So I think I'd say I would encourage anybody who wants to do a side project, maybe to build chatbots.
Actually, Sidhu, we can also do this. We can create a separate video. We three can just sit on Azure AI Foundry and then create an agentic AI and then post a video. Like that will also probably help all the viewers understand how to easily use the product.
Yeah, we should definitely do that. And also, I want to, like, as we tried this before, right? So we have done this for our podcast too. So what we did was we used GPTs. Essentially, we took the transcript for all our podcasts, put it into GPTs, and anybody who used that GPT go and ask a question. So the agent actually goes, looks at the data, and answers the question based on the discussions that happened in the podcast, right? So it's actually saying that I'm not giving you a very generic answer, but I'm actually giving you an answer that was discussed by some humans inside a podcast. So this is just one use case, and I did the same for my newsletter too. And you could find 100 different use cases out there which you can build chatbots for, and we should definitely do that.
And if anyone wants to check out these GPTs that we created, right? You can go to ChatGPT. You can click on Explore GPTs and search for everything product. And you can also search for product GPT. Is that the name, Sidhu, for your newsletter? Yeah, perfect. Yeah. Anyone who is watching the episode, please go explore those out. You'll be able to find a lot more details about everything product and Sidhu's newsletter.
What do you guys think about the Microsoft gamification and the 0-day quest challenge that they were talking about?
Yeah, that was a very interesting move as well, Srinath. Like, if I remember Steve Ballmer's old video, right? Developers. So it's more like that. So they're trying to like bring that focus back on security for developers. In my head, when I think about security, right, it's a very monotonous thing, and I don't know how many developers actually focus on going on the security side of things. This could actually help in terms of gaining developers' attention on security side of things, and they're also giving prizes, right? Big prizes. I think they announced like $4 million or something like that, which could gain attraction from like top talent on the security side. And making it gamified makes it more fun, so that again, like not monotonous. Like try to make fun things out of that, and it also benefits Microsoft. The reason is, given that everyone is in the early stages of AI, if they can find those bugs very early in the product development, it'll be much beneficial for them. Like all the products that they bring out are going to be high quality, no issues, especially for the enterprise customers and stuff. Yeah, that's the way I see it. Like it brings an edge to Microsoft, keeps the developers happy, probably brings in new developers into the community, and then helps them in like much secure products.
Yep. No, can't agree more on that. I heard somewhere that this was probably the largest hackathon event that was ever conducted. That with that 4 million bounty. So, which was pretty cool. This is not only probably motivation for the work, but there is a motivation for money there.
Yeah, I think have as things are becoming more and more easier, and there are these automated workflows with agents and all of that stuff, right? So security is the most important, and the more easier it gets for you to develop things, the other side of things, or other side of the coin is it the more easier it is for the attackers also to build things, right? So essentially I think Microsoft is trying to put security first and privacy first, so this will help give solutions that can counter any of these threats that might come in the future.
Yep.
Couple of interesting ones that I've also seen in the Ignite is one is the Windows Link, and the other one is Azure Local. Srinath, what do you think about these products? Why do you think they even launched these?
I think those offer a great flexibility for customers overall. It's like if you take like Azure Local, right? It's basically bringing the Azure infrastructure cloud services to customers' site. What that gives is the customers that flexibility to run multi-cloud infrastructure or hybrid infrastructure, and this is very important for like organizations like which are in finance or any banks or any sensitive any organizations which process sensitive data, where they don't want that to leave the customer's location. As you know, lot of these infrastructures today before Azure Local are being maintained at a centralized data center spread across the world. However, this is basically your own Azure infrastructure living on your site, which gives that flexibility. So that's the benefit I see with Azure Local. Regarding the Windows Link 365, I feel it gives a great flexibility to connect to cloud without saving the data on the laptop or any device that you are on. So without currently there are other like features like the Citrix and all. However, I feel like some those are pretty slow and sometimes don't even connect properly, especially when you don't have like a lot of like internet bandwidth. I hope this Windows Link 365 gives that flexibility to connect to cloud easily without saving that, and you can put it in any of your service, so you don't have to even carry the office laptop everywhere. You can just carry that device and plug into anything. So I feel like overall that's the flexibility I feel those two um, like network or cloud related stuff that they offered.
Yeah, and I think one other thing which I want to add, like there was also something which is very interesting that they talked about, which is the Earth Copilot. Looks like Microsoft partnered with NASA to build something called Earth Copilot. It actually gives you access to, I think, 500 petabytes of data, which is built on AI infrastructure, and it's essentially helping you get a lot of geospatial information, weather information, and all. Essentially, this could help a lot of countries and also farmers and all the people to get, you make use of all of the data which NASA gathered over years and years, right? So I think this is something maybe we can dig deep into the next session, but I thought this was very interesting use case.